It's always a bad idea to follow Temple Guard. Another round of applause for Mike Smith and Temple Guard. Great job. Welcome, everybody. The weather couldn't be more beautiful, and thank you for joining us on this very first day of April for what is our kickoff launch for Sexual Assault Awareness Month. What if I told you that right here in our streets, in our homes, there's an epidemic bigger than cancer, heart disease, and many other major chronic diseases? What if I told you that no one speaks about this, and many of us convince ourselves it only happens to other people? But every 2 minutes, an individual is a victim of sexual assault in the United States of America. Would you believe me if I told you we still don't want to talk about it? The advocates, the law enforcement, public servants, and providers gathered here today, they see it. The survivors, they know it, they see it, and they transcend it. But yet the community still remains in the dark. So today, let's make a commitment as a community to bring it out of the darkness and collectively say, no more. It begins by teaching our children, by believing that scared little boy, by not judging the teen rape victim, and by supporting victims and victim service agencies across our nation. For those who serve and assist victims, this is a month of celebration and recognition for you, and I honor you. I see the work that you do each and every day, and I stand here proud to be a member of your community. To the survivors, you are our inspiration. What you show us each and every day transcends for us the work. It takes it to a different level and reminds us that the human capacity for potential is unlimited. So I thank you all very much today, and I'm glad that you were able to join us. I have the wonderful honor of introducing a good friend of mine, and quite honestly, one of the most inspiring individuals I know in this community. So I'd like to now introduce my friend, Carla Christopher Wade, who is going to share a piece of work with us today. Miss Carla.
Good afternoon, City of York. Now, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Carla Christopher, and I am an Ivy League student. I'm an individual company and small business owner. I'm the former Poet Laureate of York. I'm even a TV show host on the fabulous White Rose Community Television. I'm even a city council candidate. So why does any of that matter? Because I am also a sexual assault and domestic violence survivor. And this is the first time that I have actually said those words out loud to anyone outside of my family. Why? Because it wasn't supposed to happen to someone like me. I'd worked at the YWCA as my very first job, teaching perpetrators of domestic violence how to be better. I'd worked in court systems. I've worked in prisons. It wasn't supposed to happen to me. And so for years, I stayed silent, along with hundreds of thousands of other victims every single year, because they are beautiful, because they are intelligent, because they are capable, and because they wanted to believe better in someone. There are a new generation of victims that are learning from the code of silence that I helped perpetrate. And now, the most important role beyond anything else that I mentioned is that I'm also an educator. I go into William Penn High School every morning. I've been in every single college in the entire Tri-County area. And I also go to our charter schools, our elementary schools, teaching poetry and expression. And there is no one who has more courage than those young people that I spend every day with. And if I want to be serious about anything that I do, I realized I had to be serious about myself first. But I'm not going to share my writing with you today. I'm going to share theirs. Everything that I'm going to read that sounds like a quote, it is. And it's something that just in the last month has been gathered from more than 10 schools in the South Central Pennsylvania region. Sexual assault means if someone touches another person in a sexual way without their permission, against their will. It's unwanted touching of someone's body without their consent. It's even unwanted comments. It's if you're sexually applying force to another, like opposite or same sex, because it can be both. I mean, it's making somebody do something sexually that they don't want to do. It's a sexual confrontation without a mutual consensus or understanding. Right, miss? They know. I promise you they know. Their heads beneath pillows, their shoulders against doors, they sat on floors curled in positions of the baby that they once were, cradling a telephone against their ear. It was their best friend. It was this girl in their class talking about how she could hear her aunt and uncle from the top of the basement stairs when they thought everyone else was sleeping, but who could close their eyes against all that screaming? It was the volume loud enough to cause cave-ins in places where sound enters the ear. Yes, if they can't hear your voice, movies and television do play that loud. And they have been listening to this echoing of our silence. See, 1 in 5 women and 1 in 16 men are sexually assaulted just while in college. The majority of these victims never report the assault. In fact, over 90% of sexual assault victims on college campuses do not ever report their assault, believing they will not be heard, not be believed, not be vindicated. They will be humiliated, shamed, rejected, and stigmatized. Our next generation is learning a code of silence. It's not just like a specific type of person. I mean, it doesn't happen to just one type of person. It happens with everyone. High school, college, adult. I mean, it can even happen to children. It's an issue to people who are unaware of their environment. We have to raise our kids to get to know someone, like for a year or something. People just be sleeping with everybody and they spend time with everybody and, they don't even really know them. You have to practice before you trust somebody. It's an issue for people that are ignorant. I think it affects teenagers and college students because of parties. I mean, yeah, it's an issue for everybody, but mostly for teens and college students. They have to deal with it in a relationship. With boys and girls, they think it's okay to touch you in your personal space, and you tell them to stop, but they're like, no, it's okay. Why are you being a tease? The more you tell people they can't or shouldn't do something, they just want to do it even more. So I don't know if there's anything that we can do to stop it, but I know it should be stopped. Rocket science is no longer the standard. We live in a time of new intelligence, and we have shot past old ideas in mental spaceships to territories uncharted and unfamiliar. But what do we do here? See, when everything is so different, when the other shoe is on but it doesn't fit, can we just go barefoot and feel the earth move under our feet even when the sky tumbles down? I know the ways of my guardians can be unsound, and the laws are changing daily, but I still see love being regulated and women's wages in chains, with change being blocked vote after vote. It's on Facebook, of course I can see it. I can read a meme, and just because I'm young, I'm more passionate than you think. I'm afraid of this future where passion is outpaced by technology and where humility is too often downgraded. I mean, like, it's downloaded and there's an error message. I mean, how could he think that was okay? And how could she say that to him? It's just the way of people today. So maybe it's better if I just shut down and drift into mental space. Our next generation is learning a code of mistrust. My father used to touch me for years. Once I started blossoming, until I told him to stop. And I told my mom. My stepdad throwing a TV and beating my mom every night, that was like violence, right? And they did still have sex too, so does that make it like sexual violence? Because, he was her husband, so she thought she had to take it. My aunt's husband used to try and touch my private parts and sometimes tried to convince me to have sex with him. I always said no, and until this day, my family doesn't know, and they will never know. Every morning, the armor of God becomes the combat fatigues of a woman warrior wounded but never resting, attesting to the power that comes from helping one another. Hand extended to pull you up makes me push my feet in harder. Little brother or sister, I love you, I got you. And I know that you are the generation taking the lead that will pull us through this darkness of ignorance into the light of coming together. Passion, power, and purpose. My next generation, you can do this. See, I think we should give sexual assaulting like a more negative connotation. I think that we should make the punishment a lot harder. I think that they should be taught better, even if it doesn't seem to work. I would say that we can teach people more about themselves and self-defense and all that other stupid stuff that we teach. We should raise our children with more respect, like how they used to do in the past. I think we should show them that we're not alone, that they're not the cause, and that we can do stuff to fix it. I think that we should tell people that it's safe to speak up. I think that we should provide a safe environment like groups and rallies and stuff. Oh, and we should always support the victim. We can just be there for the victims. We should make sure that we're there for the people that go through this, because people still blame the victims. We can believe them, especially if the girl knew him. People want to say it's her fault, but it wasn't. We can just let them know it's not their fault. We can just be someone there. We could help them. Give the victim the opportunity to tell you what they feel. I think those kinds of things can really help. Our undaunted and irrepressible next generation, they are learning a code of hope.
Isn't she amazing? Carla, every time I'm around you, you inspire me, and I'm sure many people here feel that same way. So thank you. Let's give her another round of applause. I now have the distinct honor to introduce for the first time that I've had the opportunity to publicly the YWCA's new CEO, and we love her. So, Jean, welcome to our your very first Sexual Assault Awareness Month kickoff. Everybody, please give a round of applause for Miss Jean Truthart.
Thank you, Rick. Thank you, Carla. Good morning, everyone. Yes, it is a beautiful day today, but we're gathered here for this serious subject to bring awareness to sexual assault. Rick talked about how there's an incident every 5 minutes. Well, there's a reported incident 500 times a day in this country. But I would really like you to think about the number of incidents that go unreported, because we really are talking about an epidemic. And it's occurring, these crimes are occurring by people who are known and unknown to the victims. They're happening in homes, in the workplace, in public areas, on college campuses. It's really pervasive. We've been engaged in a national conversation, really at an increasing rate, unprecedented rate over the last few years. And I think that conversation is good. It's very helpful. But we really are asking to bring awareness to action. It's why we've joined the No More movement. which you can see the banner across the square. And the YWCA has been at the heart of this action. We've been at the heart of the action around the world through YWCA International, across the country through YWCA USA, and here in York County through YWCA York. It's really at the heart of what we do to bring awareness, to educate, and to advocate. So we're here today to launch the entire month of April with a number of events and activities taking place. We hope that you will choose to participate in at least one. They're on our website. Share the information with people in the community, and we would like to have a really good turnout at these events. So I'm going to thank you in advance for participating this month. Now I would like to have our elected officials come up. Mayor Bracy, Commissioner Doug Hoke, City Councilman Henry Nixon, and I believe we have a proclamation. Mayor Bracy.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. We have a proclamation. It's long here, but there's a lot of good information here that we'll read. Whereas Sexual Assault Awareness Month is intended to draw attention to the fact that sexual violence is widespread and has public health implications for every individual and community in York County. And whereas sexual violence happens to people of all ages, races, genders, sexual orientation, religions, abilities, professions, incomes, and ethnicities. And whereas in 8 out of 10 cases of rape, the victim knew the person who sexually assaulted them. And whereas the focus of this year's Awareness Month is on campus sexual assault, for the reasons that 1 in 5 and 1 in 16 men are sexually assaulted while in college, and more than 90% of sexual assault victims on college campuses do not report the assault. And whereas with leadership, dedication, and encouragement, we can be successful in reducing sexual violence in York County through prevention, education, increased awareness, and holding perpetrators who commit acts of violence responsible for their actions. Now, therefore, we, the York City Mayor, other elected officials, City Council, and York County Commissioner of Pennsylvania do hereby proclaim April 2015 as Sexual Assault Awareness Month and encourage all citizens to diligently work towards the elimination of sexual violence. Given this day in York and the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania on the first day of April in the year of our Lord 2015, and it is signed by all 3 commissioners and myself. Thank you for the work that all of you do to combat this issue and help us to make provide more awareness this month, particularly on our college campuses.
Okay, last but not least, I'm going to introduce Michelle Cooper, who is our medical advocate, to give you some information about upcoming events. We have a number of different events for Sexual Assault Awareness Month. Michelle?
Thank you. Thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate it. It's great to see so many faces out there. We've got a lot of really exciting events going on this month, specifically targeted to our college campuses. The national focus for Sexual Assault Awareness Month is Safer Campuses, Brighter Futures. So the first thing that we'll be doing is next week we will be at each and every college campus in York with our information, with kits on safe sex and consensual sex. We will also be offering a sexual assault intervention training to 3 bars in York City: Cobblestones, Murph Study Hall, and the Depot. We know that these are 3 places that many of our college students go after school, and we're going to give them targeted intervention training so that those places are safe places for our college students to spend their time. If you enjoyed Carla's presentation, she will be doing an event at G's Juke Joint on April 18th, promoting her new book, I Got My Voice Back, which is an anthology of poetry, spoken word, and monologues written by survivors of sexual assault. That event starts at 7:30, and I encourage all of you to be there. It's going to be an amazing event. I'm also very proud to announce that on April 14th at York College, we will have our first ever Sexual Assault Response Summit for campuses. This will be an invitation-only event, but it's an opportunity for all of our campuses and all of our systems representatives to talk about how we're responding to sexual assault on our campuses and what we can be doing to work as a community to support our college students. We're also excited to promote the Crime Victims' Rights Vigil on April 21st at 7 p.m. at the Colonial Courthouse in downtown York. And finally, we'll be doing our Hip Hop Hope event on April 24th at the YWCA. This is a teen dance instruction with the idea of promoting respect, body confidence, and fun, because this can be fun too, right? So I encourage everybody to bring your teens, and we won't be carding at the door, so if some non-teenagers would like to come too, it's going to be a lot of fun. Finally, April 25th is Race Against Racism, and if you would like to sign up, you can talk to us after this and we'll be happy to give you more information. Once again, thank you all so much. Thank you for everybody that came out to present, and thank you again to Carla, to everybody. I'm going to give it up to Temple Guard to take us out. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much.
Cadence, get up, bass. Cadence, about faith. About faith.